Imagine this. A 7-foot giant like Shaquille O'Neal dunks so hard that the entire backboard shatters. The shot clock crashes to the floor, and the game is stopped while a brand new hoop has to be rolled in. Now, here's the crazy part. All of that chaos traces back to one random balcony in a small gym in 1891. Yes, what started with a peach basket nailed 10 feet above the ground has evolved into one of the most sophisticated pieces of sports engineering on the planet. So, how did we get from a fruit container to Shaq-proof steel machines? Let's dive in. Basketball didn't start as the global powerhouse we know today. It started as a classroom assignment. James Naismith, a 31-year-old instructor at Springfield College, was told to invent a new game to keep restless students busy indoors during the brutal New England winter. He asked the janitor for 2 square boxes to use as goals, but the janitor returned with peach baskets. Naismith shrugged and nailed them to the balcony railing, exactly 10 feet off the ground. That height wasn't chosen for athletic balance or geometry. It was simply the height of the balcony, a pure accident. And yet, over a century later, it's still the universal standard of the game. Every dunk, every buzzer beater, every highlight reel still happens at that same arbitrary height. Imagine if that balcony had been built at 8 feet. Slam dunks would be routine, and basketball as we know it would look nothing like today. But there was a problem. The peach baskets had a flaw. They had closed bottoms. Every score required stopping the game, climbing a ladder, or poking the ball out with a stick. Imagine LeBron James sinking a 3, and then everyone waits 2 minutes while someone retrieves the ball. Clearly, this had to change. By 1892, woven wire rims replaced the peach baskets. A year later, these were upgraded for heavy cast iron because the wire bent too easily. That's when the rim size became fixed at 18 inches in diameter, a nod to Naismith's original idea of 18-inch boxes. For perspective, a basketball is about 9.5 inches wide, just over half of the rim. That means 2 basketballs can fit inside at the same time. Wide enough for skillful shots, but narrow enough to demand precision. Then came a surprise invention, the backboard. At first, it wasn't about rebounds. Spectators sat on balconies directly behind the hoops. And fans being fans, they interfered. They reached over to swat away shots from rival teams. To stop the cheating, wooden backboards were installed. By 1909, wood was replaced with glass backboards, but again, this wasn't about players. It was about giving the crowd a clear view. Ironically, something built for crowd control became one of the most important tools for bank shots and layups. And in 1912, basketball entered its modern era, open-bottom nylon nets. No more stopping play after every score. Now, the ball swished clean through. This one innovation turned basketball from a quirky pastime into a fast, flowing, competitive sport. For decades after 1912, the hoop barely changed. The NBA eventually set strict standards: 10 feet high rim, 18-inch diameter, 72-inch wide, and 42-inch high backboard. A painted 24 by 18-inch rectangle to guide bank shots in the rim placed exactly 6 inches from the backboard. Everything was designed for consistency so players could perform anywhere without surprises. Even the nets were refined, with anti-whip technology that prevents tangling and ensures that satisfying swish. These standards meant that whether you were in Madison Square Garden or a small high school gym, the game felt the same. But while the hoop seemed unshakable, players were evolving faster than the equipment. By the late 1960s, players were getting stronger, faster, and taller. Dunks became so violent that rims and backboards couldn't handle them. The NCAA even banned dunking for a decade, from 1967 to 1976, in what became known as the Lou Alcindor rule, named after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But banning athleticism wasn't a real solution. The NBA kept dunks, and in the late 70s, Darryl Dawkins famously shattered backboards with his monster slams. Each time shards of glass rained down, games stopped, and arenas scrambled for replacements. Clearly, it was time for innovation. The solution came not from high-tech labs, but from farm equipment. Arthur Erod invented the breakaway rim, using a spring from a John Deere cultivator. The rim was designed to bend and snap back under exactly 125 pounds of force, enough to absorb the shock of a dunk without breaking the glass. This breakthrough changed everything. By the early 1980s, the NBA had fully adopted the breakaway rim, drastically reducing shattered backboards and keeping the game moving. But then came Shaquille O'Neal. In the early 90s, Shaq's dunks exposed a deeper problem. He didn't just shatter glass, he destroyed entire hoop structures. In one infamous game, his dunk pulled down the whole backboard, folding it like an accordion and sending the shot clock crashing. The NBA realized the battle had moved below the surface. Engineers reinforced steel supports, anchored hoop systems deep into the floor, and even changed the rules. Intentionally breaking a backboard now earns a technical foul. Today's NBA hoops hide their biggest secrets underground. Massive steel braces and anchoring systems designed to absorb thousands of pounds of force. The rim bends, the structure flexes, but nothing breaks. From peach baskets with closed bottoms, to breakaway rims powered by farm springs, to Shaq-proof steel monsters, basketball hoops have quietly evolved with every generation of athletes. And yet, the constants remain: a 10-foot rim, an 18-inch diameter, and that backboard rectangle guiding every bank shot. All because a janitor grabbed the wrong equipment in 1891. So next time you see a perfect swish or a thunderous dunk, remember, you're watching not just skill, but over a century of engineering adaptation to keep up with the game. If you could redesign the hoop, change the height, the rim size, or even the backboard, what would you do? Drop your ideas in the comments, and let's see what kind of crazy alternate universe versions of basketball we can come up with. And if you enjoyed this dive into sports history and hidden engineering, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories just like this one.